Yes. Well, we have a new victim though in the green room, so we will trot him out. This is. Well, I'm gonna let you do the introductions because it's your name on the show.
What are you? Shut up.
It's the Jack Henke
Yeah,
show.
when you know somebody and like somebody, you go, "Oh well, I'll just do this one." Or
Okay,
I'll do
okay.
Samantha Bear. She's cool. But no, we have. I want to know how Kyle. I want to get the correct pronunciation of his last name.
Well, then let's bring him on in.
Let's
Here
bring him on.
comes
Kyle, introduce yourself.
Kyle ? Hello.
Kyle, introduce yourself.
How are you? Yeah, I am Kyle ?
And the Mysterians.
Yes, Kyle Shelstad.
Shelstad. All right.
Yep.
All right.
And I play in the band Barbaro. I
This one right here.
I grew up in Cedarburg and playing at the CPAC on September 29th.
Yep, you're kicking off the Visiting Artist Series this year. It's big time. And you are a Cedarburger.
Yes. Born and raised. When I was 18, I moved to Montana, went to school out there, played in some bands, was in Minneapolis for a while after that, and just about a little over a year and a half ago, moved back to Milwaukee. So I'm living down in Bayview.
Excellent.
Yeah.
So you came through the Burg of the Arts. What was it like growing up in Cedarburg? Was there support for you for the arts in Cedarburg, do you feel, Kyle?
Totally. I think that was something that was really great about growing up here, is how they supported the arts, from the public school system itself to the the cultural center downtown and things like that. Spent in elementary school. I went to Thorson.
Yes,
Another Thorsoner.
Yes.
Yeah.
Although,
I'm in a room of Thorsons.
what was the mascot when you went to Thorson, though? I got to ask.
Oh God, was there a mascot? If there was, I didn't know.
Oh, for God's sakes! When I was there, we were the Cool Cats. You can't forget the Cool Cats.
Oh, you can't.
No, of course not. Oh my God! Well, it's all downhill. That's all right. If you don't remember, that's better than coming up with some of the shit they came up with. But anyway, you're all good. So keep going. Thorson, very good.
Yep. Thorson had Mr. Roberts as a music teacher.
Okay.
And he had like a guitar class in 5th grade for students if they were interested.
Oh, cool.
Which is probably the first time I played guitar. Learned how to play like Happy Birthday and things like that. And in middle school, I was in choir a lot, and the choir teacher actually encouraged me to do a play. So that was the first time I was at the CPAC. We had Guys and Dolls.
Nice.
And I think there's a DVD around here somewhere of it.
Choir kids in middle school are crazy.
Yeah.
That's nuts. My God.
Yeah, I don't know if I ever thought about band or not. If my parents were just like, you aren't bringing home a trumpet to practice with, or what it was. But I did choir, and most of the reason, if I'm being honest, that I did choir in middle school and high school.
Chicks.
What was her name? Come
on.
What was her name?
The girls love the choir guys.
Yeah.
Let me tell you.
You can be a choir hero.
Yeah.
I was on the geometry track, and I got far more women that way.
Yeah, so you know what I'm talking about.
We know what you're talking about.
But it was because it was really easy to get an A. They were just dying to have guys in the choir.
Yeah.
So I did that, and then high school I was in the swing choir and all that with your son Jack. And we did. We got to sing with Judy Collins.
Oh wow! Cool.
Back her up. And then also whenever the Visiting Artist Series was going on, they always do some sort of community outreach piece of it. So would do some sort of workshop with the students, things like that. But I got to see some great shows at CPAC. I mean, the school took us on like overnight trips through the band and through the music department. Like we got to go down to Chicago and see a master class with Dizzy Gillespie, and then see his show afterwards. Things like that. Where super cool. And at the time, I was like, "Who is Dizzy Gillespie?"
And why are his cheeks going out to here?
Why is he playing such high notes? And so it's cool just to like as you encounter these things as you grow older too. You're like, oh, I actually had a conversation with this person, you know.
And now you went to the master classes when the cool dudes came in. Now you're one of the cool dudes coming in.
Yeah, so cool.
Yes.
So we're gonna do a workshop the Friday of the show.
Oh, cool. That's nice.
So it sounds like we'll be with some of the band students for about an hour or so.
Excellent.
Which we're looking forward to. We like that part of.
So Swing Choir, you survived Victoria, Ben Sonora, for God's sakes.
Yes. So it was Darcy Ketter, and then Victoria came in maybe my senior year.
Oh, okay.
Junior year. But she
just doesn't have any energy. She doesn't have any passion.
No energy whatsoever.
She levels every room up. When she walks in the room, the whole room levels up. It's pretty amazing.
Yes.
Yeah, really, really great, passionate, like somebody who's like, I think most of my instructors in music have been passionate, but not her level of passion is something I've never seen before. I'd love to know what she's doing now.
She just retired last year, I believe, the year before. Yeah, she retired.
Just a couple years ago.
Yeah, yep, and she's very active. She pops in the library quite a bit. So
nice.
Yeah.
Bulldog works with the library, so he knows he's got the finger on the pulse. So you were going to do a workshop. That's fantastic.
Very cool.
The kids, as you know, I mean, how many times do you have somebody come through and then experiences as a student and then be the dude saying, hey, this could be you someday, right?
Yeah.
I mean,
fantastic. Cool.
How did you... Oh, go ahead. I'm sorry. I didn't want to cut you off.
Well, I was just another one I thought about was Bruce Hornsby.
Oh, wow.
That he came through the CPAC.
Very cool.
And the thing that I really remember after that show is he gave away his box sets for free.
Yes.
Box set, not just a simple disc, but like
I got one. I was there.
Like
it was fantastic. He was that was fantastic.
Mm-hmm.
He was fantastic. He was great. So tell us about how did you end up, tell us about Barbaro. Tell us about the origin of the name, first of all, and tell us about you guys. Go.
I'm ready. So the name itself comes from the racehorse.
Yeah.
There's a horse 2006 or 2007 that I had heard about from a friend of mine. Told me this story about how he was basically he won the first race of the Triple Crown. Everybody was putting all their money on him, and then he jumped to start in the second race, fractured his shin or something like that. And
I remember that.
Typically, they'll just euthanize him on the spot, but the country kind of fell in love with this horse.
Yep.
Just started, sending them pictures and like get well cards, money, all that kind of stuff. And so the owners of the horse decided to invest in trying to heal this animal, which isn't, typical for these racehorses.
Right, usually.
Yeah, right. Because if they're getting injured, they don't want to pass down any weak shins, to the next litter or whatever you call it. But, and so and then ultimately the horse didn't make it after a bunch of failed surgeries, unfortunately. But I had written a song about that story because I thought it was super tragic and kind of romantic. And so people seem to love tragedy. And when we were trying to decide what to call the band, we had the song first. And we tried a bunch of different names. There's a local club in Minneapolis called the 331s. They have live music 7 nights a week. It's always free to attend. You're paid in like a few beer tokens. And if anybody decides to tip,
I'm in.
Yeah.
I can do tambourine.
Getting rich quick. Yeah. And so like one time we went with the Honey Bottoms as a name, and then the next day we went and Google searched Honey Bottoms, and realized there was no way we could compete with that on the rankings.
I was gonna say, I haven't Googled it, but the visuals sound all right.
Yeah.
Well, it kind of sounds a little bubble gum. I mean, you're gonna have to be doing a lot of ooh wah ooh, you know.
Yeah, right. So we ended up just deciding to go with the name of the song,
cool.
because we thought it was a little different.
Yeah.
It means different things in different languages, and maybe kind of hard to pronounce. Maybe it's not a word people are familiar with, so they'll remember it.
In Wisconsin, the first word is bar. For God's sake, you're all set. Bar, Barbaro. Oh,
yeah.
You're in.
Like,
you are in.
Tavern Square.
Yes. You are in, my man.
So I have to ask, because I don't know if you guys would quite be classified as Americana. I know bands love to be classified. Nothing makes them happier. But there's an Americana. The father, the granddaddy of all Americana bands, comes from Minneapolis, of course. My beloved Jayhawks. Did you have any experience with them at all when you were in that area?
Just listening and
okay.
Working with people who had worked with them.
Okay.
Past, but yeah, no direct connections, unfortunately.
All right. So Bulldog usually asks the questions that go nowhere. So here's my question. How did you meet your band mates? Are they band mates? How did that come about?
Sure. The scene, we started playing predominantly at bluegrass music, and the bluegrass music scene, acoustic music scene in Minneapolis and around the country really is pretty tight knit. Since it is such a niche genre, if you tour for a summer, you're going to meet a lot of the bands and a lot of the people who are involved in it. So up there, we were starting to play with a bunch of different people. My buddy Isaac lived back here in Minneapolis, so I kind of moved out to play with him and see if we could get something going in Minneapolis. He's a great banjo player, great jazz guitar player, and we tried a few different people out. This one guy, Jeff Swanner, great bass player. And I think like one of the third gigs we had was some like brunch gig, which is tough for anybody.
Don't knock
come on.
We're big brunch people.
Barbaro and French toast. Yes. Right. Brilliant.
And so he makes it to the gig, but during sound check, he decided to just take a nap on the couch out in the front lobby of the restaurant, and he just slept for the 2 hours that we were supposed to play. So we had to find a new bass player.
Must have been quite a deep sleeper.
Very deep sleeper.
Not only did he sleep through the set, but he slept through brunch.
I've never really slept through brunch before.
Not even.
For God's sake. Oh man.
Yeah,
but that didn't stop you.
No, it didn't. It just made us realize that we should be a little bit more selective, maybe.
You're over like Spinal Tap, that bass players would combust.
Right. Yep.
Took care of that problem.
So eventually just playing with a bunch of different people. Like our bass player came to us through my roommate's now wife, just kind of random connections. But the cool thing is that when you play together, it's just pretty immediate whether it's going to click or not.
Yeah.
And so there was something, unique to the experience when Jason started playing bass, and then Rachel, who plays fiddle, started playing fiddle with us. It just seemed to match. The sound seemed to take on something that was a little bit more original and unique to what we were, doing. So yeah, we've been kind of running with it since then.
And great. Rachel has a beautiful voice.
Yes.
For God's sakes. I mean, fiddle. I mean,
Every band needs every band needs a secret weapon. I think
oh my
you may
God.
have one there.
and you have a great voice too, but I mean, it's just something else when you see she and your voices together work so well.
Yeah.
It's fantastic. It's just really something else. It's great. So
Yeah.
all right. So before Bulldog asks you another question that goes nowhere, I have another one for you.
I have like 6. They're all duds.
Yeah, like ketchup on your cheeseburger. My question is, so I write a lot. I'm an author. You don't like to get, you're like, I don't want to get put into a niche or a genre. How would you describe, I mean, you guys, how do you describe yourself?
Yeah, that's a good question.
See, Bulldog, good question.
Don't encourage him. I thought of it before. A more intellectual Nickel Creek.
Oh, that's really kind to say.
It does. It sounds. I mean, actually,
I thought you were going to say Nickelback. Wait, dude.
That's your FM dial, not mine.
No.
Go ahead. Was even like later, like especially later era Nickel Creek, where they're getting a lot more experimental. Mm-hmm. That when I heard you guys go, I was like, "Ooh, that's kind of what they're doing there." I like that.
Thanks. Yeah, definitely take a lot of inspiration from Chris Thiele, his projects, Nickel Creek, and that's especially like our first album that we put out. That was, what we were trying to do, and just from there, just tried to get a little bit more explorative with it and make it a little bit more original. So, putting out a new album in October that's been labeled as Pastoral Americana.
Yes,
I don't know.
That'll work for me. I like that.
Yeah, when I read that, I was like, great.
I'd bust my wallet out if I saw it somewhere. I'd be like, okay, yep, you got me. In fact, I do. I think I have the image. Is that the will that be ultimately the cover of?
Yep.
Cool. Yep, that's great. That's a neat cover. I like that.
Thanks.
Speaking of that, I mean, Pastoral Americana. The things I've read from your write-ups, traditional and progressive, exquisite compositional qualities, dualities. All these words. You're too intelligent to be like a popular band, for God's sakes. What the hell are you thinking?
Aren't that popular,
I'm kind of annoyed because I like to, I have the amount of bands. I'm like, okay, I don't want to expand anymore. I've got enough music to listen to. And then you guys come, and I'm like,
open-minded.
I have to. No, I completely close. I'm 52. I'm done with that. Well, now I have to add another band because like what you guys do is exactly what I love. So we're in big trouble here. I mean, it's just like, it's the sweet spot. So thanks.
Nice. Yeah. Well, thank you for listening.
Don't align yourself with him. It's not a winning thing. So you can say all right, thanks, but don't be doing that, Kyle. Come on. Yeah. All right.
Was there a question in there? Or?
Yeah. No.
It was just an assault.
You just happen to be in the middle of an ongoing thing. So tell us, like when you do an album, you have a new album coming out. How long does it take you all to do an album from beginning, like I have an idea, to where you're recording it?
Sure. So I write a lot of those. I write the music for the band, and some of the tunes were written as far back as 3-4 years ago. So it's just kind of collecting songs, figuring out which ones work. A lot of times I'll maybe bring a song to the group and we'll play through it a couple times and they don't like it, or they aren't like, you can tell they aren't all that excited about it. So you give it a few months and then bring it back up again and see if they've changed their mind, kind of thing.
Yeah, or forgotten about it.
Yeah, exactly. But then we went in and we recorded this back in the winter of 2022. Recorded it up in Eau Claire, which is great. There's an engineer and producer out of there named Brian Joseph.
Big music city.
Yeah, it is actually, and great musicians too.
Yeah.
And a short trip to Minneapolis, but
right.
But he's worked on projects like he kind of got his his footing with the Fray, and then worked with Boney Bear for a bunch of his work.
Boney Bear, is that like Bon Iver?
Exactly.
Jack comes down from the hills every now and then.
Every once in a while. I like that Bon Iver stuff. We should get it get a little faster. But what the hell?
Oh dear.
Yeah. But so we worked with him. He's got a great little studio.
A barn, right?
Like a barn,
barn. Yeah.
Yeah, and it's super vibey. It's cozy and comfy. And just right off the bat, working with him, it seemed like a really good fit.
Nice.
We hear things similarly. I've listened to a lot of the work that he's put out over the years too. So a lot of that influence he had placed on me, before we even met. So that was a lot of fun. So we recorded it. We did 4 days, and then let it rest for 6 months or so, and did a couple additional recording days where we just kind of patched some things up. Worked on mixing, got it mastered, and it's pretty much been done since last December is when I started kind of going around and pitching it to labels and seeing if somebody would pick it up.
And you're with Sound. What's the name of the label? I saw.
Story Sound Records.
Story Sound. Yeah.
Nice small independent label out of New York City. That's just focused on supporting young artists.
Great.
And when I brought the contract to our attorney, he was like, "Is this actually a record deal?" Because it is so friendly towards the artist, and, not tied into anything. And he's been great to work with. Super easygoing. Hires a really good team around him. So that's been a really fun experience too. I'd never worked with a label in the past. Always wanted to, and it's really nice to have a little financial backing.
Oh, absolutely.
Nice.
Help get the word out and things like that.
You bet. You bet. Well, it got you on our show, for God's sake.
Yeah, right.
It's enormous, really.
Now you made it. What the hell?
The wait list is, we bumped you up 1,014 people to get to tonight. So
I appreciate that.
It worked out well.
The CPAC appreciates it.
Yeah.
As we're coming up to the 8:00 hour, and I do want to play your most recent music video, which I have queued up. We'll play that on the way out. But I do want to ask about the fact that you guys basically were like with the United States State Department or whatever. You were roaming the world with your band. That's crazy. How'd that work out?
Yeah, super cool program, American Music Abroad, that's put on by the U.S. Department of State.
Okay.
Started kind of in the 50s, during the Cold War era, with a lot of jazz musicians that were being sent over to Eastern Europe, in hopes of like developing some sort of cultural diplomacy with the area. So the program still goes on today. Essentially, you apply for it. There's 400 or 500 bands that applied for it.
Yeah.
You do some interviews, things like that, and they select 10 artists, 10 groups to then do tours. And so we got sent to Qatar.
Yeah.
We were in Qatar for a week.
Do you play guitar?
Or Qatar, however you'd like to pronounce it.
As long as Jack can make a pun out of it, it's fine.
No, I was just going to keep rolling.
Or 2/3 of a pun, PU. Yeah, go ahead.
Bulgaria. Spent a week in Bulgaria and a week in Turkey. And we were doing live performances for the public. We were doing workshops with students. We did some like diplomatic events, which are crazy, just public figures doing concerts at the ambassador's house in Istanbul, things like that.
Feels like a James Bond plot. If you could point your guitar at the at the consulate and push the button,
right?
That's all you got to do. Keep playing. You're fine. We just need some information.
Yeah, exactly. And so it was really great experience. Cool way to kind of travel. It was a hustle.
Sounds crazy.
You're working pretty hard.
Yeah. And
sometimes you wish you had some more time to kind of sightsee and hang out in the city. But like we had 2 nights in Istanbul where our schedule was basically packed, and we had to take a van the next morning to go to Bulgaria, and we ended up, taking advantage of that time and basically crawled onto the van the next morning and slept our way into Bulgaria.
So, it's amazing.
Yeah, you find time, but I like to explore and eat all the food, and we got to eat a bunch of food, but wish we could have explored more, but
yeah,
we were working.
Sometimes it's not so bad. That one kid who would try to take the dope out of Turkey didn't work out so well.
Billy, you're going to bring up Billy Hayes and Midnight Express now?
That's such a bad thing. You got to eat some food. You got to play a few gigs. On to Bulgaria, that's the place that they talked about in Shitty Shitty Bang Bang.
I don't think Kyle had like packets of foil taped to his body. Or maybe not. I don't know. It's none of my business. It's none of my damn business. That's not really the thing.
All I'm saying is not the worst thing.
Yeah.
So many money-making opportunities in music.
Yes.
You said the weirder the better, Kyle. Remember.
Yeah.
Be careful what you wish for, my friend.
Yes.
I appreciate it.
Anyway, coming up at the 8 o'clock hour, there's a million more things we could talk to you about, but it's we're excited to have you at the CPAC, and and your band, your band is terrific. It really
is. It's a fantastic. You have a fantastic story, and you are just about to go. I can feel it.
Oh,
I have that.
Thank you.
Yeah.
No, you don't even want that. You don't want that kind of. Well, if you do, bring us along. We're good.
Yeah.
Never forget that night on the Jack Henke show.
That's right. That guy was talking about turkey and what the fuck.
He wanted me to tape a bunch of packets of hashish to my body.
Yeah.
Anyway, so it's all good. Well, like I said, we're going to spin your music video on the way out,
Awesome.
but as I'm sure the State Department ultimately said to you, you are free to go.
Yes.
So thanks again.
You.
We'll look
Thank
for
you
you
very
on
much for
Friday
joining
at the CPAC. Hope to talk to you again.
Awesome.
Yes.
Yeah, thanks for having me, and look forward to seeing you guys in person.
You bet.
Excellent.
All right.
Cool.
Take care, Kyle. Thanks a lot.
Thanks a lot.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
That is Kyle Shelstad is the name, not Kyle question mark. And he even put that on his. He was pretty fast to the draw with that question mark thing. I noticed that on his lower third. That's very cool. Anyway, we are going to spin. Hopefully, their most recent music video. I was doing all kinds of things.
Don't make excuses.
Yep, I think I got it. I think
Don't
I got it.
excuses.
We're doing it. The minute I push this button, you're gonna see some and hear some quality stuff.
I'm surprised you didn't jump on the Bulgaria. That's the chitty bang bang thing.
I am not surprised actually, but that's just me, I guess. Anyway, this is One by One, which is apparently off the forthcoming album.
Excellent.
From Barbaro, and the song.
Their voices, I have to say, their voices, and then the instrumentation. I mean, I can't wait for the concert.
And you were right. When I looked at this, I was like, "Oh God, these guys are going to get big."
Yes.
Yeah.
And
this will be the last time we ever talk
to him. He'd be like,
"Jack, who?
What's that?"
Yeah, this guy in his kitchen in Saukville. Anyway, let's play One by One by Barbaro, and you get a chance to see them live in person, and you should at the CPAC because these guys.
You bet. The 29th is a Friday night. Great way to kick off your weekend.
Yeah.
Have a few drinks. Head out on over to the CPAC because it's going to be fantastic.
Absolutely. All right. These guys are taking us out, so we'll be back tomorrow on a Friday with hopefully Dr. Ben. That still sounds like it's coming together there, so that's cool.
3 o'clock tomorrow.
3 o'clock tomorrow. We can do that. All right, guys. And then what else?
AJ
tomorrow.
AJ
tomorrow. AJ will be here. Yes, we got confirmation of that too.
What else do you need?
And I might stop by as well. All right. One by One, Barbaro here on CPL Radio.
Beautiful.
Good night, all. Let's see if this works. Please work. It worked. Okay, I'm out. I'm gonna watch the video. I'm gonna listen to the song. Bye.
One by two by who knew, baby, it's all the same. If time's so simple, Why is it so fickle and hazy? Are we meant to be just aboard, strong and stable? Sparkles just a little, the rain on my tin roof, and you say to me, if life's just a jingle,